All right. Oh, audio. Can you hear me? Awesome. Okay, the players have started their games. I'll get that set up here. Just a moment. All right. We are looking at Andrew's game. Looks pretty even. As of right now, Nick, Derek, and Andrew have started their games, but Alan hasn't yet. We'll go over to Derek's game. Looks solid as well. And this here is Nick's game. Looks like Nick will have to sacrifice a pawn or something. He might have to castle, but then the queen will take. That would be an interesting position. As expected, Nick is sacrificing his pawn, but for some compensation. Well, interesting position for White's king and bishop. Sorry, I'm having some audio issues here. 1 second. Testing. Can you all still hear me? Awesome, good. Okay, checking out Andrew's game. Unfortunately, he is not doing well here. Down 2 pawns. We'll see if Alan started his game. Looks like he has. He's earlier he's earlier on in the game than normal for everyone else, but it looks like he started a Dutch defense. Now we have all 4 games started. Alan looks like he's doing fine. Going over to Nick's game. Looks like it's about to enter time pressure for Nick's opponent. In Blitz, it's really important to take into account the time. Nick has 2 minutes. The opponent has 20 seconds, and he's continuing to spend more of it thinking. This is very good for Nick. Oh, we actually have a result. Unfortunately, Andrew lost the game by resignation. Actually, it looks like that's mate. Unfortunate. What happened here? Okay, we were at this position. White shuffling a little bit. Lost a pawn. Lost another pawn, but for activity. And after castling, very difficult for white here. Yeah. Oh well. Oh no, it looks like Nick also lost his game. Oh no. Queen hangs. Awful. He had a fine position though. I think he tried to rush because of time pressure. Um, Also unfortunate. So our only 2 games left are between Derek and Alan. Go over to Derek's game. Very complicated position. Not sure who I like here. Maybe black can play d5. At that point, these rooks will be hitting against a wall. But they're playing quickly. The game will be over in roughly 2 minutes. And Derek has played e5, blunting the rooks. Now maybe white will play rooks over here. But in the meantime, white's attacking the pawn. Sacrifice from white. This changes the character of the position. Wow, this is very interesting. Derek's up in material, but his rooks are worse than white's rooks. We'll see how Derek handles this position. Moving on to Alan's game. Looks equal. Both sides just need to develop their bishops, and they'll be good. Whoa, whoa, what was this? I almost said that was a sack, but it's actually discovery against the rook here. Whoa. Hmm. Very interesting. The opponent is made up for it. Derek wants to trade queens. But after that, white's going to take on e5, and material is equal. Hmm. Not good for Derek. I'm sure he's thinking now about how he could have played this better. Both players have under 30 seconds on the clock. Well, looks like Derek's actually doing better here. That's that C pawn is going to march up. Oh, maybe not. Derek's thinking here because if he goes to e8, then there's rook here check. So he goes to g8, pretending if white plays the rook down back with his own rook. White doesn't play that. He goes king g2. Good for Derek because he's forcing white to respond. But there might be a perpetual with king f7, rook f4, king g8. 5 seconds left for both players. Rook d2, king h3, king f7. Maybe Derek will take on e7 with an intentional sacrifice. I don't know here. Anything could happen. Derek just has to not lose on time. He only has 3 seconds. Check. Another check. Rook back maybe. Oh, rook there. Oh, that's good. Another check though. Okay, promote. Okay, Derek looks fine here. Up a rook. White has no way to promote the pawn. Should win this position. Oh yeah, definitely. Take the pawn. Yep. Take, take. Yeah, White's gonna resign. All right, and Derek clinches game one. We only have one game remaining. Alan's game. His opponent's in time pressure, sort of like with Nick's game. Takes with check. Very good. Will white trade the bishops? Alan played queen e5 very fast there, probably intending to make his opponent think a bit more, but unfortunately walks into this blunder. Now once the queen moves, this rook's going to take on d7. Maybe queen f6 and then take here. That's what I'd go for here. But then rook would die too, though. This is bad for Alan. His advantage is the clock. He needs to think here and find the best way to play. Create threats. Yeah, he's doing well to think a long time in this position. White immediately takes. Um, this was better than queen f6 because now in this position, white doesn't have the option of trading queens. Whoa, blunder. Just take the queen, and then take the knight. Don't know why Alan's thinking. I guess he's sort of a bit shaken. Yep. Black can even take that rook if he wants, then win with the extra material. But king g6 is also fine. And Alan should win this game. Especially with that time advantage. So it looks like UF is going to go 2 for 2 against the other team today. Round 1. Mate's being threatened at queen f1. And Alan wins. Good job, Alan. Good job, Derek. Good job, everyone, of course. And we'll wait for game 2. All right, we have Derek has started his new game. He's playing against the King as Indian defense. He's playing his famous h3 g4 line. Very tricky if you don't know what you're doing, because with these 2 pawns here, Black will never be able to play f5. Or I guess he can, but it would be awkward for him. And already Derek's doing great. Pawn to b4. If takes, then Black can't take back with the knight because the rook take over there. Looks like Derek's already doing well. Just getting the other games on tap now. All right. Going over to Nick's game. Like he started his a little while ago. Sorry about that. I didn't catch a lot of the game. He's down by a bishop. Not looking good for him. We'll see if he holds. Oh, looks like Alan has somehow the game's been aborted. We'll know what's going on with that. Going over to Andrew's game. He's a bit behind in development. Other than that, material is equal. Looks like White's threatening to take this pawn here with his rook. Board game. Very confusing. Okay, and Alan's finally started his game. Oh, he's playing. Is that the wing gambit? I think it is. Oh. And Nick has lost his game against his round 2 opponent. We'll just check what happened in this game. Played into the King's Indian defense structure. Very normal stuff here. Except White just has a lot of space. So we have Black is down a pawn, but White's king is in the center. Dynamic position. It looks like there was an attempted tactic here, but it didn't work out well. White loses knight. And then a checkmate. Unfortunate game for Nick here. This is Andrew's game. Down a pawn as expected from earlier. It's not over. Black just needs to get the bishop out. Then it should be a tough fight for White to win. Going over to Derek's game. I like his position a lot here. In fact, it looks like he's just going to straight up win material. The knight's being threatened, and then the rook's going to take. So most likely Black's just not even going to move the knight and let it get taken. Expecting b takes a6 here. Yeah. I'm going to look over at Andrew's game just because his opponent's in time trouble. 24 seconds to 8 seconds. This is Andrew's chance. Moving the knight back. White's clearly going for it here. Oh, great tactic from Andrew. And now Black is winning. Immediate pre-moves. Wow. Neither player has much time to think. As long as Andrew can just get this bishop into the game, would be good. That was probably his idea with there. Maybe even rook g8 and then bishop c8. Otherwise, Black is just playing without one of his pieces. Yeah, probably this is next move. Oh man. Black's very passive but up in material. Oh, just take the pawn. Yep, very good. Oh, but not that one. Oh no. Oh, there's a discovery. Oh no. Oh, poor Andrew blundered in time pressure. And with so little material, there's not much Black can do. Yeah. Oh, what a tragic ending. Very unfortunate. White's just going to queen. I can't look. We'll move on to another game here. We've got Alan's game. Looks like he's down in material, unfortunately. I think he's in trouble. His only advantage is that Black's king is unsafe in this position. Doesn't look like it's going to castle anytime soon either. Clearly he's going for it as he should in this position. It would be a bad idea to try to consolidate. This move threatens two pinned pieces over here. White would like to take here and then take back with the queen with check. Then maybe get the knight in or the rook in. That'd be really good for white here. So even though white's down in material, it's not over yet. Oh, knight takes. Good idea rather than immediately taking the bishop. Because now he's threatening knight to c7 check, forking these pieces. Very dynamic position here. I'm not sure what I'd do. White. Oh, and if black takes there, then knight c7 check would fork the king and queen. Black's not going to play that because he's too good, but that's just another hidden layer behind knight b5 instead of just taking here right away. Oh, and we have that Derek won his game. What happened here? This was the King's Indian defense game. We left off here after he takes a6. Black traded pieces. And King's position isn't that bad here, especially after queen g3. In fact, Black's king is in a worse spot than White's, and Black just resigned here. Black's played rook a5, allowing knight c7 check. Interesting. So two candidate moves are knight c7 check and he takes e6. Not sure which one I'd play. Alan opts for knight c7. After the king moves to, say, d7, then the bishop will no longer be pinned. Oh, he takes with the knight. Well, good creative thinking here from Alan. I would have just taken with the pawn. Now, Black wants to get the material back by taking here, but then that allows the queen to come in with check, and this is a very menacing queen here if it were on e6. And then this will get taken afterwards. Oh my gosh, I would have fallen for this. Because if white takes this pawn and then takes here, and the queen would take. So good on Alan for not falling for that. But he's still attacking. Rook there, check. White wants to get his other two pieces into the game. And even though Alan's down in material, I think he's a favorite here, just because Black is down to only 20 seconds and is in a very tight spot. If they each had like 10 minutes, it'd be a different story. Right, king there, rook up, hoping that the queen moves off of this diagonal here. and then white can take. There, queen takes with check. Oh, and Allen has made the material even again, and with no loss of the attack. Black completes development. White just has to be careful not to move this bishop, or else he'll get back rank mated. Oh, and Allen wins on time. Good on him for putting on the pressure when his opponent had so little time. That was exactly the right thing to do. And we have UF goes 2 for 2 again. We're watching Derek's game, playing the English. So far, it's totally even here. Looks like Andrew has started his game. Playing against a King's Indian defense type structure. Very solid. Over in Allen's game, and advanced Karo Khan, exchange on c5. This should be a tactical game. Oh, and Nick has started his game. The opponent plays b3. Interesting stuff here from white. But Nick plays his solid King's Indian structure, as usual. What happened here? So we have Derek's game, playing the ready setup. Black goes for an early bishop trade, which white accepts. And now that black queen is a bit out of play here. Then the pawn is trade. Oh, and he takes with the pawn rather than with the bishop, which I find surprising. Just because with this pawn here, this rook is now cut off. And you'll have to move it again at some point, or just push the pawn. Maybe that's his idea. But black stops that by playing c5. Main downside is that black's queen can't escape like this anymore. Cool move. Threatening knight b6. And also limiting the squares the queen can go to. Queen b3 would force a trade and stabilize the pawn structure, for example. I'm just going to refresh the results page. I think it still says it's 0-0. It's actually 4-4. 1 second. Hope it's working. Maybe not. Like it's still loading? Okay, right. There it is. 4-4. I like Andrew's position here. He got connect 4, and this blunts the bishop here. Now this bishop doesn't have many places it can go to. Whoa. Sorry about that. I accidentally zoomed in. Looking at Derek's game, looks like he's won a piece somehow. What happened here? So white played knight a4, knight there, rook b1, queen takes. Ah, cool. Yeah, so we were talking about how black's queen is in a difficult spot with not many moves. Well, here white just forced a win of the queen. Black took, thinking he could get away with it, but nope. So the queens are off the board, or just black's queen. And this is a good exchange for Derek. And this is the position currently. Once white just gets the queen into the game, he should be fine. Andrew's game. Wow. Not much has happened in Alan's game. I'm a bit surprised here. We can check back on that later. For Nick's game, very interesting position here. Black wants to place the knight on one of these squares. Or maybe play pawn c5 or something. Because c5 would stop b4. This looks pretty equal. All right. Still not much has happened in Alan's game. Over in Andrew's game, looks like a trade of queens has been offered. On the one hand, if white accepts, then black's pawn structure is going to be bad. But black has these strong pawns in the center, blocking in this bishop. So I really don't know who I'd rather take here. Maybe white by a small margin. Derek's position has exploded. He had these moves. White got a knight on c6. Gets a check with it. Whoa. And Derek wins. We need to go back here. Okay, so black took, check. Takes. Oh, and that was it. Just there was that tactic where black couldn't take here because that opens up the rook. And then this check opens up the bishop so that both of these are attacking. And white just wins another rook and black had had enough. All right, great job, Derek. That's another win for UF. And it's needed right now because it's 4-4. So all wins are very good for us here. This is over in Andrew's game. White has accepted the trade. So now there's a bad pawn structure for black. But black has opened up the rook at least. White is slightly preferred here. But it should be draw with perfect play, I think. We'll see if anything's happened in Alan's game. Okay, what is this? Oh my gosh. I didn't, this was not following the moves. My mistake. So the position opened up. And this is the current position. I just have to take this all in here. I think black has a much sounder position. White's just going forward on this side of the board here, but on the king side that is, but his pieces are in the middle and on the queen side, so he's a bit stretched out. And white's king is in a worse position than black's. I was like, this is a check. And there's no light square bishop on white's side, so this queen can stay here for a long time. We'll see if Alan can hold this position. Over in Nick's game, we have an active rook play. Runs the pawn on g3. And white doesn't want to advance that pawn because that would weaken his position. Maybe rook f3. The main weakness in black's position is this pawn here. Rook c1. And black's pieces are tied to the defense of this pawn. Also, white's bishop is better than black's bishop. So slightly worse for black, but not totally losing or anything. Over in Alan's game, we just have the knight moving over. Looks like he's folding. Black really isn't sure if he wants to take this pawn, because then that would open up this battery over here. Yeah, so black doesn't even take there for fear of opening up those pieces. But white makes sure that that won't happen. Andrew's game is getting into time pressure. Seems like all of his games are getting into time pressure here. 9 seconds versus 7 seconds. The opponent's up by 2 points of material, 3 points. Not good for black. There wasn't much black could do besides trade rooks. Oh, yeah. Black could resign here. Man, time pressure is just Andrew's problem. Oh, maybe repeat? No. So Andrew having problems with time trouble this the semifinals. Anyway, the other games are getting into time pressure. We have Alan's game, some time pressure. The opponent's up by a piece. Alan offers a draw. Opponent declines. Just barely not checkmate. Whoa, what is that? Oh, and just resigns. I guess he didn't see that the pawn was there and could just back. Time pressured. All right. Oh, and we have a checkmate in Andrew's game. So the only remaining game is Nick's game, which is approaching serious time pressure. Black has more pawns, but has down the exchange. Very dynamic, imbalanced position here. Anyone could win, especially in time pressure. Oh yeah, and it looks like Nick's going to get a pawn. Just to worry about getting mated potentially. Oh no. Man, right as I say that. Yeah, I guess there was nothing he could do after this. Darn. All right. So we have the score is, I think, 5-7 going into the final round. I'll refresh the scores. Hopefully that'll fix itself in a moment. Computer can be slow sometimes. But when it comes up, it'll say 7-5. All right. Andrew and Nick have started their games. Andrew's playing against a Sicilian defense. Over here with Derek. Never seen this line before. Wow, this is very, very dynamic for sure. And over in Nick's game, also similarly dynamic, we have G4 in what looks like also a Sicilian position. This game's not going to be a draw. One side is going to get mated here. B4 coming from black. Maybe white should take here first. Because if white just moves the knight right away, then his pawn's going to get taken for free. Probably what white has to do here. Going over to Derek's game. Very weird position. Black's a bit cramped. Not sure what I'd do here. Well, right, because both sides bishops. Well, white's dark squared bishop and white's light squared bishop. Black's dark squared bishop is having trouble getting out. They're both having trouble here, blocked by their own pawns. It'll be a constrained game. Alan has started his game, playing the Dutch defense. Certainly a sideline opening, which is very good if you want to go for a win. It looks like all of these games are going to be decisive. We have two Sicilians, the Dutch. Derek's game is already well off the ground. We'll see what happened in Nick's game. White did take the White did take the knight on f6. Trades resulted. And now Nick's thinking about whether he's going to take this pawn right away or do something else. because white can still play on without taking this pawn right away, because that's valuable time. That's a whole turn when white could instead be developing the bishop or something like that. I'm not sure what white can do here. Looks like his attack is pretty much gone. And now with this move, black is threatening both this pawn and this pawn. Nick will probably sacrifice this pawn here and then get an attack going. Or actually, there's a trap here. If white plays here, queen takes, would fall for this, and then the queen is trapped. Oh, he's going for it. Nick's hoping that black will fall for the free pawn. But if black doesn't do that, he'll probably play like queen e7 or queen e8. Just stabilize, go from there. Looking at Derek's game, as is usual for him, he's managing his time very well. He's already up about 3 minutes on his opponent. He's got his queen almost all alone over there, which normally isn't good, but I think it's fine here, just because this knight doesn't want to move or else queen will die. And this rook is helping out. Black would love to double up on this e-file here. Take advantage of the fact that he has an extra rook. But black just has to make sure his queen doesn't get trapped. Over in Alan's game, looks pretty imbalanced as well. He's going for an attack here. Maybe e5. This is similar to a King's Indian defense. Black's probably going to play g5 at some point. Okay, just king h8, no problem. All of these players know that they need a win here. So they're doing the right thing by going into these lines. Derek's won material in his game. What happened here? Not sure. Doing fine. Andrew, will his demon time trouble come back to haunt him? Down to 34 seconds. Looks like black's going to get another pawn in addition to a piece. This is a very bad position. Next game has some more interesting stuff. Black sees that the queen would get trapped, so he didn't take. This is the current position. It continues to go on the attack. He'd love to get his queen on this diagonal here. provoke this bishop. Well, as I say that, black moves the bishop back, so the queen will never go here. And Derek has won his game. Very important win. Very cool idea here. White can't take this piece, or else it gets mated. Takes with the bishop, then queen h2 is mate too. We'll check in on the remaining games. We haven't looked at Allen's in a little bit. Equal material. However, black just played the defensive move queen d8 so that white won't take this pawn for free. Doesn't look like black's going to get a serious attack going. Maybe g5 in this position. Queen c7 with the idea of allowing this rook to get into the game somehow. And black has assumed a defensive posture. Doesn't go too well with pushing this pawn here. Black's playing on both sides of the board. Over in Nick's game, the opponent has another pawn, but white certainly has compensation and more active pieces. Nick's very good with tactics. We'll see if he finds something in this position. There's got to be one somewhere. Takes. Gets the pawn back. Except isn't bishop c8 winning? Oh no, it's not, because he can check. Bishop c8, then the queen would move check. Looks like this move forces white to play queen d3 or something, just to defend. Yeah, or c4, yeah. More active way of doing the same thing. Oh, and I forgot to notice the time. 4 seconds to 5 seconds here. Nick could get a win here, that'd be huge. Team A. Oh man, what does one do as white? Very little time. Oh, almost. Bishop d1. Oh man. Oh, and Nick wins on time. Oh, that's great. But it looks like Andrew has lost his game. I think that means that this is the deciding game. Allen's game. Because Derek won and Nick won. Andrew had lost his game. So if Allen wins, then this will be all tied up. Oh man. So it looks like white has strong bishop on e6. Or it will get chased around though. Maybe if black can move the rook and then play knight f8, he'll threaten to win a pawn after capturing and then capturing again. G5 would be interesting. Just making sure this bishop has trouble escaping. It's an active piece, but it's a piece all alone. We're approaching a time scramble. Each player with about 20 seconds. Closed position. Although white has a slight edge. Okay, Jade. Well, that move did work in confusing white. E8. Queen h4 maybe, or takes. It looks like black can trade queens and then win material. King takes. Get the e pawn at some point. Black's bishop is just so much better. Extremely dynamic position. Now white's afraid to move his queen or else face queen h3 check. Oh no, knight takes. White's trying to consolidate. Oh, no! The tactics! Yeah, that'll do it. Extremely close final round. Great showing from both teams. Wow. What a tournament. Of course, great job to all of our players here. I'll update the score. So many close time pressure situations. Amazing job. The final score is 7-9. All right. Yes, great effort. One tactic with the queen on c5 that made a lot of difference. Hey, Team A will still be playing tomorrow for third place. I have to check who it's against, but we'll have to see for that. If UF plays like they did today, they should. I suspect they'll win that game. Played very well. All right, and with that, Team A will be playing tomorrow. Hope to see you all then. All right, bye.